Yeah, so SmartStream is the leading software vendor for operational control software and data governance software. So whenever it comes to data, synchronizing data, verifying data, or finding mistakes in data, we can do that on a very high scale and very quickly. Yeah, so I find it very interesting here to see lots of new companies in the payment space, in the blockchain space, and we are working together with many of those here. And the interesting thing is when it comes to blockchain or payments, it's always about high volumes. And we have with SmartStream Air a very good solution in a very similar technology like those providers that can process high volumes of data. So it fits very nicely to all those vendors here, and that's very exciting to meet the people in person here. We haven't met for 3 years, so it's a great opportunity. Yeah, we are showcasing SmartStream Air. SmartStream Air is a product to reconcile, verify, and identify problems in any data. We do that with very clever machine learning and AI technology. So it learns from users how they find mistakes and how they identify records which are correct and automates that. So whenever it is problematic for a huge organization to work on lots of transactions around the world, so overnight, we can automate that with AI and machine learning. And we are showing that in terms of how to reconcile better, but also how to do exception management better, to identify breaks, problems in data better, and also automatically correct them. With MiFID II, the interesting requirement is that it not only requires the company's data or the trading venue's data, but it also needs a lot of additional data to find out whether the reporting is correct or not. In SmartStream, we have the RDU, the reference data utility, which gives us a lot of rich data and correct data, and we can use that to reconcile any company's data against that data and find out if reporting is correct or not. So before companies report their MiFID II data, they can verify with SmartStream Air to see whether the reporting is correct and then avoid fines, because in reporting MiFID fines are quite high, so that we help to avoid and correct. So interesting in your question is the high volume of data. So the transaction volumes over the years increased, and specifically during the COVID time in the last 2 or 3 years, we see a lot of more electronic payments. So the number of transactions was continuously rising, where the amounts decreased of the transactions. And it's hard for existing structures to cope with that, because there's so much more data to understand, to verify, to reconcile. Now we have AI technology to help them with that. And the huge benefit is where if a few years ago we had rule-based systems to identify, with rules which is correct and what is not correct. Now with AI technology, it's self-learning. So even when we switched from the time before COVID into the COVID times where consumers really changed their behavior, all the systems that had rule-based system had to adopt their rules. Whereas when we use AI and machine learning technology, after a few days or weeks, the system automatically understood that now we are doing business differently, how the consumer behavior changed. So AI and machine learning can easily adopt when things are changing, but also can cope with these huge volumes of data that are out there. I'm from the innovation lab, so it's always hard to talk about innovations if they have not yet been published. But I can tell you we are working on the exception management workflows. If you look where the main workload of our clients is, it's not identifying the problems, but then correcting those problems. And we are using AI and machine learning technology to auto-correct those problems, to automatically tag those problems, to assign them to specific users, to write automatic emails. And that in a clever way, because we all know that chatbots, they not did it right, because everybody hates chatbots, because they typically are not very clever. So we are trying to really bring value to the exception management space. And we are already starting with a few selected clients, and it's looking very promising. I guess at Cybos this year we will probably have an announcement on that.